Hi everyone, and welcome to Jola Speaks. Jola Speaks is intended to grow and equip us in our trust walk with God. We all go through testings because we all go through seasons. No condemnation in Christ. God just loves us so much. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jola Speaks. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I hope you're having a good time, enjoying the weather, having a blessed day, and also happy about today as well. So today we're going to be continuing from what we said yesterday, where we discussed God has made provision. And today I want to discuss that God has given us the best of the land. The best of the land. He's made a way for us to have the best of the land. And I'll be reading from Genesis 45:9 and 16 to 21. When I'm reading the New King James Version, I encourage you to please read your Bible with me. It's so important to read Bibles directly because I find that things stick more, you absorb more when you read directly than hearing from people, because sometimes you miss things when you hear directly. So I read verses 9 now. Hurry and go to my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. And I go down to verses 16. Now the report of it was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers have come. So he pleased Pharaoh on his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers this, load your animals and depart. Go to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and his household and come to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat of the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, do this, take parts out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Also do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. Then the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them carts, according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provision for the journey. He gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father these things, 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed and said to him, see that you do not become troubled along the way. God has made the best provision. God has made the very best provision. And yesterday we discussed how God has prepared things before time. And so even this best of the best, God has prepared it before time for the Israelites. And I write here, before we came to even the understanding of what was happening, before the famine, before everything, God had prepared the best of the land. Even in the famine, Israel would have the best of the land at that time. Look at God's leading for his beloved Israel. Just look at it. He moves them from the land of Canaan to the land of Egypt. But before he does that, he makes sure Joseph, the son, has a very important position in Egypt, because he needed that position to get the best of the land of Egypt for the Israelites. God needed Joseph to be in that position so that his family can have the best of the land in Egypt. And so I look at this wonderful verse and I see that, wow, it's like the king gave them a royal invitation to come and live in my land. Wow. It's like, you know what? I want you to take all your things and come and live in me. If I gave them carts to leave from Egypt to go and bring their father, give them food for the journey to Egypt, did everything mind-blowingly so that they can appear in Egypt. It's amazing. I wrote here, a royal invitation to stay in the land of Goshen, which is where they stayed, and we'll discuss later. The best of the land of Egypt. They received a royal invitation. It's like right now, the King of England asking you and your family to come and stay in England and puts you in the best of the best, in Kensington, right? And says, I want you to stay there, and I've created a home for you. But before you come, I have also at the same time sent through aeroplanes, sent through the best of cars to pick you up from your country. You have food for the whole journey. You have everything you need. And don't worry about what you have or if you have clothes, because when you come here, I will give you everything that England has, the best of the best. Going into any shops, take what you want, and it will all be well paid for. Every single thing has been planned for your entry. So you're coming in with a royal entry, applying for visa, because that visa is given to you immediately. You don't even need a visa, right? You're already probably given automatic citizenship already. It's like literally he has just, taken you like a king into his own country. So he gave you a grand entrance. Very rarely do you hear people having such a wonderful entry into a new country. Very rarely. But you see, God had proposed that I want Israel to dwell in Goshen. I want the best of the best for my children. And so he made ways. He gave them the best invitation, royal entries, every single thing fantastically done. And so here is Israel living in a country that was famine, stricken, to a country that was living in abundance. But not just that, they were living in the best land in that country after receiving a royal invitation. Even the descendants, even the actual Egyptians did not get that much recognition, that much, abundance, because they had to keep selling their land to get food. They didn't need to sell land to get food. They were living in abundance in Egypt for 5 years of farming. For 5 years of farming, they did so, while the whole world was going through a terrible season of famine. Because God had already planned, I said, I want the best of the best for Israel. So I want to ensure that they must not be struggling in the famine, they must live in abundance as kings. And so he sent Joseph to preserve life and go ahead of them to Egypt. That's the God we serve. And it just amazes me that God leaves the best of the best for us. He gives us the best of the best. We may not have understood what's happening. We may be going through things that we're not sure what's happening, like the first 2 years of the farming, and before that with Joseph's dad and his brothers. But look at how God had already planned everything. They won't have realized that the next step they would take would walk them right into their blessings, walk them right into abundance in a mind-blowing way. And so here they are, enjoying the best of the land in Goshen. I will also discuss Goshen and the meaning of Goshen and even what it is in the Bible. But I clear just to say that Goshen was the best of the land. It also says here that Pharaoh said, I will give you the best of the land of Egypt. And Goshen was, I think it was called the land of irrigation. I will explain more in the next episode. But God is amazing. God is so amazing. How does that make you feel that God leaves the best? No, not God leaves. God has planned the best of the land for you and myself. The very best. Even when you are in countries that are not your country, or countries that you were not born to, God has still planned the best of the land for you in that country. The same way he's done it for the Israelites. And he did it before time. And so when we begin to worry that, oh God, things are not making sense. God, it's hard. Like everybody around me has maybe gone different ways. Everybody around me has traveled, or maybe everybody around you has pivoted into different things, and you feel like you are still there, stuck, not sure what to do. Obviously, comparing is not the right thing to do. It's not the best thing to do in this situation, because we are all on separate different journeys, and everybody has a different race they're running. But can I just say here that to remind you and myself that God has prepared the best of the best for you and myself to where he is sending us to. It is so important to remember that point, because if the Israelites said to go to another country, maybe Greece or something, during that time, God didn't prepare the best of the land for them there. They had to be in Egypt, because everything has to be aligned to God's purpose and plan for the Israelites. And so if they had gone to a different land that God sent them to, they will come back to Canaan, or God will find a way to take them to Egypt, because that's not where God had prepared the abundance for. We need to trust God and go where he's taking us to, where he has planned for us to, where he's going with us to. We can't leave him. We can't leave the presence of God and say, oh God, bye. This makes sense. It makes logically sense that, try going to this country over this country makes a lot of sense, because they have better rules and regulations. They have better human rights regulations and rules. They have better ways they treat immigrants. They are friendlier, etc. All those things are fantastic. But the question is the good and the God way. If God has planned you to go to a different country, they may not look so rosy to you. They may not make sense to most people. They make you want to ask, and I'm like, God, why am I here? But in that country, God has planned the best of the best for you. Go there. Don't be swayed by things that make sense to us at the moment. Because God, the same God, has walked through that part. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows exactly where we should go, what we should do, how we should do it. Next episode, I will talk about also wanted to hear from God on guidance, like Jacob did before he embarked on the journey to Egypt. So thank you for listening to me today. I just pray that right now, for us to fully remember, understand the truth that God has prepared the best of the best for us. And as we align ourselves, our lives to His purpose and will for us, we'll begin to enjoy the fruits of what God is leading us to. The best of the best of the best of the best. In Jesus' mighty name I pray, amen. Thank you for listening to me today. God bless you. I love you. Bye.